I don't really understand when people ask that question, like, is a woman too independent? It's like, stop acting like independence is somebody vomiting all over the floor. It's not. It's actually a good thing for somebody to be able to stand on their own. Okay, the tire's flat. Let me call AAA. That's what I pay for, or get out here and change it myself if you know how, right? She doesn't have to call and stop everything that she's doing and run to him with every problem, because then it starts to have this codependency thing, like a child to a parent. We have to be very clear that we don't want a child and a parent relationship. We want a male and a female relationship where we come together, where we are equal, where I don't mind coming to you when I need to, but I can also do some things for myself. Why is that disgusting? Why is that a problem? Because if you depend on people to, I mean, man, she want me to pay these bills, tell my son need a new pair of shoes. I mean, I just don't understand. Take that boy get his hair cut. See what I'm saying? And it's like, if you ask for too much, it's a problem. If you don't ask for nothing, it's a problem. So Malia is doing what she needs to do. The relationship is extremely new. You have to build to get to certain places with people. You can't just like, I'm gonna say that if we hook up on Monday and decide we're gonna be together, and then by Wednesday I'm unleashing the floodgates of all of my emotions, you probably should run, because that's not even mental stability. Starting at 3 years old, I was left in a closet and I wasn't fed for a few hours. Like, it might come up, but that early in the game, I'm not even sure if you can handle all of this, handle all of what I have to say. So we got to take it baby steps. Chan does. He's getting frustrated. I think that goes to show that he's used to being with women who are extremely comfortable with him coming in and being Big Daddy and taking over and just doing, yeah, yeah, whatever you want me to do. What do you want me to wear today? You want me to wear my hair up like this? Like, I think he's really used to somebody who wants to be a living doll. He's not used to dealing with a woman who's like, no, I got this. So Malia's not too independent. Malia's wise. Malia, I mean, we talk about people choosing better and picking better. Part of picking better and choosing better is taking your damn time. How can you choose or pick better if you're just jumping into everything with all these emotions? And I'm a Pisces, baby. We have all the zodiacs combined into one person. That's probably why I am a wave of foolishness sometimes, right? So when you have so much going on with a person, you don't just jump off on like the deep end. You need to see, can you handle all of this? Can I handle you? Can we handle each other? It's chemistry reactions, right? Like people. You don't just put different elements together, because sometimes different elements together become very volatile and they create explosion. So you need things that come together and they merge and they blend well. Like when we add salt and water together, what happens? It dissolves, right? Or you add sugar and water, it dissolves, and you can't see it. But if something is causing a precipitation, it's all these nasty clumps and lumps. That's a problem, right? People are the same way. We have to be able to gel. We have to be able to trust each other. Malia's not too independent. Malia's taking her time and understanding that she's 27 years old. So she's been doing this for herself for a while. Why all of a sudden does a woman go from being uh, responsible for herself to just now laying her feet at the feet, well, laying her life at the feet of Jesus, which is not Jesus, it's actually Chan, and just, Lord, whatever you want to do with my life, and just I'm in your hands now. That's a little bit crazy. So I think that Chan is overreacting. I think his frustration of Malia just not giving herself all the way to him. I don't know if it's because he just needs a pound cake. I don't know if it's because he's ready to go to Pound Town. I'm not sure what this is, but this is a form of control. Really, it is. When people are trying to push you to share too much way too soon, like, hold on, in the words of Kyrie, brother. Hold on a little bit. Like, let me breathe. Let me know that I'm safe, because like, you don't just meet somebody and become best friends overnight. You build to that level, and then you be able to start like telling each other how you feel about different things, and that person's able to receive you. You don't go into any relationship just front door open, guns blazing. We don't do that. You have to take your time, be smart. So that's that. Hey, don't forget to check out Rose City Merch. It's the perfect way to show your love and support for the show. From comfy tees to cool mugs and tumblers, there's something for everyone. Head over to our website and grab your favorites. The link is in the description. Now back to the show.
It worried me when Malia told Chan she didn't tell him about the things happening in her life with Chris and money issues due to fear that he would walk away. Do you think this is dangerous territory for her being this vulnerable? Hmm. I don't know. Would that tie back to, like, our icebreaker? To where, it could be that, she doesn't know the relationship is still new, so she don't know if it could be thrown back, in her face later on. That kind of vulnerability, being open like that. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to answer that one. I'll let you guys answer that, and maybe we'll circle back.
I don't see it as being too vulnerable. I don't feel like, what she said was, I mean, she wasn't sharing her social security number. She was saying what needed to be said. Chan needed to know, and they just made their relationship official. So he needs, with some relationship, they need to know what you're up against. This is a threat that's facing both parties all the way around. So I don't think it was too much information that she was sharing. I think she shared what needed to be shared. So, yes, it was vulnerable, her opening up and finally getting it out, but I don't see anything wrong with her doing it. She should have did it a while ago, but we're here now.
I think the thing that makes me concerned is her fear that he would walk away. It's like, sis, is this relationship that important? Because again, like I always go back to chemistry because I really like chemistry. It's a really fun subject to learn about. Everything's not meant for you. Everybody's not meant to be in your life. So if my problems are too big, maybe that's just a sign that we're not meant to be. Because I feel like the person that you're with, when it's really meant for us to be together, I feel like my crazy won't be so crazy to the point where you're like, I can't, or my family won't be so big to the point where you're just like, this is a no, I got to go, right? Because everybody's not meant for everybody. We might look good on paper together. We might be cute in a photo together. But would we really have like real chemistry? Like, what could we really be together and it like be something mutually beneficial where you are my friend? So, side note, I love shows like Downton Abbey, Bridgerton, that type of stuff, Queen Charlotte. He'd be like, you always watching that weird British mess from like the 1800s. Like, he just doesn't like it. And I'd be like, babe, watch Downton Abbey with me. And he's like, no. Or he might, to oblige me. He's like, this is boring. Well, anyway, I got him down on some of that Bridgerton. Like season 1, he wasn't like really into it. Baby, season 2, he's like, wait a minute. Can we watch Bridgerton? Okay. And so Bridgerton ended. Okay. And so he was like, hey, did you know that they have something called Queen Charlotte? It's all about her storyline. I said, yeah, I mean, watched it. And he was like, you didn't tell me they have something different. And I was like, because it all goes together. And he was just like, can we watch it together? So we spent the whole weekend binging Queen's on Netflix, right? So what I'm talking about is when you get with somebody and you guys can get along where you can do some of the same things together and even enjoy those things. That's really, really important. But I feel scared with Malia being like, I want him to walk away from me. Well, I mean, if he walks away, then I mean, just make sure you have your track shoes on. Don't walk, baby. I need you to run. And I need you to lock the door on your way back, out because you can't come back. Like this, like we was growing up, always being told you need to go run in and out. Like this door don't have a revolving, door. We're not doing this. You go in or you go out. So stay someplace. So that's what bothers me about her emotional territory. It's feeling like she's inadequate. It's the feeling of somebody's going to walk away. And it's just like, there's a trauma there when you're always afraid that somebody's going to walk away. And I have dealt with that my own self. I was like, I'm so crazy. Friends are gonna walk away from me, so I'm gonna walk away from them first. Yeah, there was moments in my life where I was
Talked
like,
about that on the way back. Both me and Kyrie on the way back from girls trip, we talked about that, and I was like, "Wait, you got the Dear John letter too?" Okay, so it wasn't just me. So Cause she sure did. Karina wrote me a whole, you know what? If I see you, I see you. And if I don't, I'm like, wait, what? What happened? So yeah, we kind of chuckled about that. Have we both gotten that letter from Karina at some point?
I know. I remember when she had called me one day, and I was like, "Are you breaking up with? Why do I feel like I'm being broken up with? like we're not in a relationship like that, but we still in a relationship. We got a whole thing going on. I mean, did I do something wrong? Like, I'll call you and let you know when I'm ready for you to walk out that door, but you just ain't gonna walk out and be like, ma'am, but okay, so I understood the question different when you said that, Karina. So I sympathize with Malia because I totally get it, because when me and my my husband started dating, I was dealing with some heavy depression and some severe anxiety, and I would have really bad panic attacks. And he was present for some of that, and I would just be like, this is just too much for somebody to deal with, like, especially coming in the door, because I shared with him a little bit, and but it wasn't everything. But to have somebody see that firsthand, I mean, it's so embarrassing, because you can't roll it, and just all this coming out, and you're crying and you're processing all this junk, and they don't understand. They just got here and like, who did what and where and how and what's going on? And and it's so much. And I tried to pull back so many times, like, no, this is too much it's too much for me. So I know it's too much for you. And he just stayed in there, and he's just like, hey, I don't understand anxiety. I don't understand depression. I don't understand. I've never met somebody that has been adopted and in foster care. He was like, but I'm going to try to be here and help you work through it. And like Karina said, that's important, to be able to talk to people and not have the fear of them walking away because you're too much, just because you're dealing with the trauma of life, and whatever happened to you. You should have a safe space. And if somebody says that they love you and they care for you, you should be able to open up and share without them. Oh, wait, whoa, never mind. I gotta go. Sorry, that's too much. So I definitely sympathize with Malia, given that perspective of the question. It is trauma. It definitely is trauma. And I mean, I can only imagine how many times she tried to open up to her mom in the past, and she just didn't get it. And just like, girl, I mean, there were so many times I went to my mom crying when I was a kid. I was like, you better go talk to God about that and leave me alone. Like, get out of here with all that crying, And I'm just like, well, I'm just trying to tell you how I feel. Go talk to Jesus about it and let me know when you're feeling better later, and you feel so rejected, especially with that coming from a parent. But, now that I'm older, I realize that she didn't understand it, so I'm very in tune emotionally, and I have so many feelings, and I'm so deep, and I want to explore that depth and explain this and explain it this way. People just get lost in the sauce, and they'd be like, crickets. And I mean, can you imagine a child at 7 trying to explain, that you're sad because, you saw National Discovery episode of all the dolphins that were dying in the ocean. And then I correlated that with, this and this and that. And I was just so sad, and we should be out there doing something more. It's just, when you're dealing with a lot of emotions, it can just come out in so many different ways. But yeah, I'm rambling now. I digress. But yes,
No, you're not. You're not rambling. You're talking facts.
But yeah, I think we see this a lot. People are fearful in jumping into relationships, and then they hold back and they don't say what they need to say. And then it comes out years down the road, and then the person can't handle that because you've hid it for so long. They thought you was cool, but you was just holding it together. And then you got to a point where you couldn't hold it anymore. And that wall and that foundation started to crumble. And then all this stuff spilled out. And then it's just like, whoa, wait a minute. It's too much now. So it's very good to get it out in the beginning and let people decide if they're going to be able to handle this. Can they love you through it? And be there. And you shouldn't have that fear of walking away. Because like Karina said, hey, if you're going to walk now and keep going and don't look back.
It's that imposter syndrome, like you were saying, that you let so much time go by to the point people are like, well, why you didn't tell me this before? Because this is like pretty deep. But on to my Dear John letter that I wrote years ago. I was going through some things, and I was at a point where I was tired of like opening up and talking about it. Not that they wouldn't listen to me, but it was actually a turning point in our relationship where we realized, wait a minute, we're all going through a lot of very similar things, but yet there's a lot of hiding, because I don't want to burden nobody. I don't want, whatever. So yeah, I just wrote a letter and I was like, I might see you like in town or something. I might see you in Tacoma. If I see you, I see you. Like, I love you. But that was my way of saying I'm removing myself. I'm pulling back. I won't be calling. I'm not gonna, I was done. You know what I mean? And I think I was just emotionally starting to shut down. I had really I had hit a brick wall. And they were just like, you ain't going nowhere. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were just, no, you're not going nowhere. And I was hurt. I was mad at them. I was happy. It was all a lot because I had never had anybody fight for me like that. You know what I mean? Like to have somebody tell you that I'm breaking up, as essentially I was breaking up with my cousin and my best friend. I was, okay. And to be told that I'm breaking up with you and you'd be like, you ain't going nowhere. And Alicia was like, well, I'm coming to Vancouver then because we're going to talk about this. I was like, you know what I mean? I was just like, yeah,
I'm
there
like,
would
you
be times I would sit in my room.
where? Like,
He's
you
like,
ain't going. Okay,
you don't
all
have to
right.
answer the phone. I'm coming. I'm coming to
Mm,
Vancouver. That's fine.
that's
It's
what
cool.
I'm here.
I'll be down there in 2 hours.
So
You can
we
play
gonna.
with me if you want to. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you're forcing me to be in this relationship and I want to run. I was trying to hide and it wasn't them. And I was taking ownership of like, hey, y'all didn't do nothing to me. This isn't a problem. But where I'm at, I felt like I was declining. I was shutting down. I was shutting down. It was pretty bad. But my girls were like, "You're not doing nothing." And Kyrie was like, why? Like why? Just why?" And I was like, "Because it's too much. It's just I'm not where I need to be at, and it's just too much." And she was like, "I love you for who you are." And I had never heard that because I usually get rebuked. Like rebuke, like I rebuke the devil out of you, Karina. Like that's what I'm used to. If I had a moment where I was going through something and I was struggling, I ain't nothing but the devil over there messing with your mind, got you thinking all crazy. There's never this, hey, well, where's this coming from? What's happening? I want to support you. And that was a massive turn in my life where my girls got me through it. They was like, you're not breaking up with me. We in this for life. Okay. Kyrie is like, don't, Karina, if I have to come to Washington, like, I'll do it. I know where you live. So it blessed me that they were just like, I'm holding on to you for dear life. And they did. They called me, they checked in on me, and they helped me to get back to a place where I felt normal and felt strong enough to be like, okay, I'm not broken. Because when you receive that error message constantly from the people who supposedly love you, yeah, it does something to you on a mental level. And that's why I'm saying that like it bothered me that Malia is so gung ho about this relationship to the point where if he walked away, she can't stand another L. And I'm at a point where whoever needs to go, it's okay. You know what I mean? Because I know that seasons and times change. But to be that wound up over a relationship, like I could see, like if it was like my girl, like if Kyrie called me, told me she's breaking up with me, it's a problem. If Alicia says I'm kicking in the door. I'm not. I'm coming in because there's a problem. Who's in there holding you hostage? I gotta find out. So, but like just to know that somebody loves you and cares about you and they're checking in on you and they're riding for you, it does mean something. So I appreciate you guys for always having my back, always being my support system, loving me, and I feel like it's important to stop and acknowledge that stuff publicly. We do a lot of, as my girl, but you don't really tell people that when you were at the worst state of your life, it was your friends who had to fish you about that ocean because you was drowning. You know what I mean? And my girls did that for me. So
I was thinking about too, is this an abandonment issue? And then that leads you to think, who has abandoned Malia, or who has she felt abandoned by? So if you find yourself in a place where you're so scared and fearful of somebody walking out of your life, you should take a step back and be like, this is abandonment issue. where am I feeling this at, and fix those issues instead of trying to hitch yourself to the next wagon that's trying to take you somewhere, because it might not be where you're trying to go.
All I have to say on that one is word is bond, son. It's real. It's so real. That abandonment, like you talked about, now you're trying to hitch your wagon onto somebody else's. And you said it might be taking you somewhere you don't want to go. And trust and believe where Chan's trying to take Malia, it ain't what she want. It ain't what she want. The next question is mine. It says, when Chan learned that Chris called him takeout, I could feel the rage in his response. I felt Malia was uncomfortable telling him that. In a perfect world, how would Chan deal with Chris? Maybe Chris is going to a warehouse. You want to talk about some takeout? I'm gonna put you in a box. He got a grinder for him. You know they have like those grinders to make ground beef or whatever. You put the meat in and it comes out ready to go. I'm thinking a perfect world. Chan would turn Chris into hamburger meat. He gonna be a whole patty. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead, lady.
I laugh my ass off every time I read this passage. And I would like to start and preface that with, if anybody is of the Chinese descent, this is not a slight. We love, love, love everybody, every culture, every race. And I would be laughing just as hard if it was a black man and somebody called him fried chicken and watermelon juice, whatever. I would be dying just as hard. So it's nothing to it. But when he called him Chinese takeout, oh, I lost it. I lose it every time I read that part. So I'm just like, the disrespect, the audacity. Like, sir, you live in a tree in the forest and you gonna have the nerve to call me somebody Chinese takeout. Get out of here. And I definitely agree with Karina. You going into the grinder next, sir, and you gonna be in a takeout box. That's exactly what Chan wants to do. He's gonna do.
That was hilarious, and that disrespect was real strong. And you could tell, like, I don't know why, I just picture him sitting on the couch, like thinking, like, that was actually creative. I'm a kick his ass, but that was a creative one. Takeout. And so, yeah, it was hilarious, but I don't know why I just see him thinking about it. Like, wow. So yeah, it got to him. And he even said he's been called lots of things, but that for some reason just rubbed him the wrong way. So I thought it was hilarious as well. I was like, okay, that's a new one. Takeout. He's definitely going into the meat grinder. Probably feet first too. Yeah.
He gonna feel every piece of them blades on them toes and them ankles. I thought about when I was a kid. My brother was dating a Hispanic girl, and my dad used to be like, "Where's Chili Mama at?" We were like, "What?" And so he had names for everybody. She was Chili Mama. I was like, "Oh my God!" And so my other brother was dating a black girl, and my dad would call her Chitlin Mama. Where's Chitlin Mama at? Like Chitlin Mama and Chili Mama. All right. Yeah, and I I feel like it was disrespectful, right? You know what I mean? If it was, yeah. So yeah, it was just funny that he said that because Sharon was like, "Oh, they've been called a lot of stuff, but I ain't never been called a box of
Girl.
takeout food." But okay,
Yeah. He could come up with some names.
oh yeah, yeah. He came up with some terrible names for people. So yeah, but yeah, Chan was so disrespected. He was like, okay, uh-huh. Cause I really got a bone to pick with him, but I mean on some other stuff too. And so, but yeah, I feel like, and I wondered myself, like Chris wrote that he thought he was being so clever, but I'm like, what do you think about me behind closed doors? What do you think about me? What would you say to me? I know somebody, and well, they're not married anymore, but anyway, she's black and her husband was white, and they got into an argument. And he was so mad. He was like, "Get your nappy head over here!" And whoa, marriage over. We talked, because you really wonder, yeah. And then the person called me and they were just really upset about it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, where he at though? Where he at? And they was like, well, he's not here. He'll be back in 10 minutes. I said, okay. And so I called and he was like, hi, Karina. I said, hey, how's your day going? You having a good day? And so he was like, I already know what you're calling for, and I've already apologized because I know it was wrong. And I was like, so what did you say? I think you know what I said, and it was inappropriate. I don't want to. I thought, no, I don't know. I don't know. What were you talking about? Then he's. I know she told you. Told me what? What happened? He's like, I said something. I was like, so what did you say? And then he was like, well, you guys say it all the time to each other. And I said, well, what was it? And then he was like, I shouldn't have said that about her hair. And I did. And I don't even know where that came from. And baby, I went in, I hammered his ass. Because I was like, first off, you ain't never heard me talking to nobody like that, saying that type of thing about people's hair. Like, get out of here, right? And I let him know, like, this is one of the reasons why it becomes difficult for people to feel comfortable dating interracially. Because you do wonder, like, if you get mad at me, like, what's going to come out? So if Chris could say that to Malia about Chan, what would he tell Malia about herself? Have her somewhere strung up in a barn. You know what I mean? What would he be calling her back there? You feel me? So I feel like when people have prejudice and racist tendencies, it's not typically just directed at one group of people. Anybody could get that work. So, but yeah, I had to load homeboy up and let him know all about himself. Let him know any little bit of respect I thought I had for you was gone because now we know you're a bigot at heart. Praise God.